Hello, Professor. Uh, Myself, Tulasiranga Lakshmana Paramal. Today, I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to explain the steps that we need to do to move the data from the original table to the object table. So, in the original table, we have that information in a relational data format that need to be converted into the object. Then, that object detail need to be inserted into the new table. That object will, information will be stored under the new table in a separate single column. This is the high level expectation. So this is the overall objective of this presentation. So first of all, we have to define the new object type that mirrors all the column which available in the real original table, that it's a relational table structure. Then we have to create a table of object that will be stored all the object into the table with single column information. So in the original table, we have 120 records. Those 120 records need to be processed and converted into the object. That object should be whichever we are creating, we are defining it new. Then once we converted that in a row into the object, that need to be inserted into the newly created table to store that object information. At the end, we have to review the real original table count and the newly inserted table count and the object inserted table count. If both are equal, so we successfully migrated the record from the relational table to object table. Now let's figure it out how to create an object type. So here we are creating an object type called life expectancy obj. That's the object, and that object have seven properties. These seven properties available in the original table. Those properties are like exact age, male death probability, male number of lives, male life expectancy, female death probability, female number of lives, female life expectancy. All these all these fields have a specific data type which available in the real original table. Once it's executed, the object is ready. Now we have to use that object type to create a new table that's called life expectancy states object that have a single column that's called row underscore obj. The data type should be life expectancy obj, which we created previously. Then we have to execute this command. Now our new table will be created successfully with expected object type. Now we have to move the data from the real original table to the newly created object table. So here we can use or get help from the cursor. So the cursor will fetch each rows one by one, then converting that each row into the newly created object type. Then we can use insert into statement to insert that values into the newly created object table. So now entire row of the original table will be converted into that object and inserted into the newly created table. This will occur through the loop. So this loop will be run 120 times because the source table have 120 records. Once the loop has been successfully completed, all the information available from the source table will be moved to the our newly created table. Once it's moved, we have to use this query to make sure both table have a same count of record, which means same row count. So the first table have 120 records, the second table also must have a 120 record, which means we successfully migrated the record from the relational table to newly created object table. So the overall summary is currently we in this presentation we learned like how to create a new object type, how to create a table with the newly created object type, and how to utilize the cursor to move the data from the relational table rows into that object type and insert into that newly created object table. At the end, how do we make sure the source table data has been successfully migrated to the object type table. So this is the expected steps that we need to complete to finish our project to the question number 3. Thank you so much, Professor. Thanks for the opportunity to learn these things.